Hello everyone, myself Prashant Mohite. Welcome to all of you in the third video of XUI test automation framework. So we'll have a quick recap for the first two videos. So in first two videos we have seen what is XUI test automation framework, what are the prerequisite, what are the pros and cons of the framework. We have created one sample iOS application and we have added one basic UI test case in it. We have also seen the XUI application class. We have seen how we can launch or activate and terminate the application when we are writing the automation test scripts. So now in this video, we are going to learn about the XUI element and XUI element queries and also the assertions. Okay. So we all know that the elements are very important. UI elements are very important, and XUI element is a proxy for elements in the application. So what are the different types of elements are there? So we know that like there are buttons, alerts, static text or scroll views, text fields, radio buttons, checkboxes, navigation bars, tables, pickers, switches, so web views. So all these are kind of elements. These are the different type of elements. So we always interact with the element if we are doing the manual testing or we are doing the automation testing. Always we are interacting with the elements. We are clicking on the elements or tapping on the elements. So that is a button. So on the button we can tap, we can double tap. On screen we can swipe or we can scroll. We have alerts, right? When alert is displayed, we are closing those alerts or we can cancel those alerts. Also whenever there are radio buttons or checkboxes, we are selecting those radio buttons or checkboxes. We have the navigation bars where you have the back arrow, or so we are tapping on those arrows for the navigation purpose. We have tables in which we can check the values. We have the picker views where we are setting the values, maybe like for example, if we have the date picker, then we are setting the date. We have text fields where we are entering the data. So these all kinds of interactions we are doing with the elements, UI elements, whether we are doing the manual testing or we are doing the automation testing. So elements, to find the element, it's a very important thing in the automation also, right? You need to always try, you always need to try or find a unique element. Okay, so if you are not finding a unique element, say for example, you need to tap on a button and in your application screen there are three buttons. So you need to, by automation you need to tell on which button you want to tap, right? So that's why the unique element is required, else the automation don't know, right? From out of three which button it needs to tap, or it may happen that you want to tap on the third button and automation is tapping the first button because you are not given the proper identifier, or you are not located the element properly, or your element is not unique. So that's why to find a unique element, it's a very important, and that for that we are using the XUI element queries, right? XUI element class that will allow you to take control of your UI elements, whatever UI elements you have on your screen. The element class will allows you to take control of those elements, and that will provide you actions. So once you have identified your element, you can perform the actions on the elements. Like you can tap on that, you can, if it's a text box, you can enter text in it, you can swipe, you can scroll. Okay, so these all kind of things you can do with the XUI element, and for that you need a query to find the correct element. Okay, so let's see how we can find the element. Okay, so we'll go one by one and we'll see how we can find those elements. So first is find, you if you know there is only a single element. Okay, so for that you can find like this, like app. So we have already seen how in the XUI application we can create a app instance, right? We have seen in the XUI application class how once the application is launched, you can use that app. So your application proxy is already created. Now you need to find those elements. So for that you can see app.text field, because you have the text field. And say for example, you know that in your screen there is only one text field, then this will locate your text field. Okay, so this is used when you know that only one specific element exists on the screen. So there are no multiple text boxes, only one text field is there, then you can use you can find the element like this. Okay, and if you use this and say for example there are multiple elements, then there are high chances that your test case will fail. So we'll see everything by doing the practical. So let me explain these three and then we'll do the practical for the same. Okay, also we have already seen that, right, when we were writing the basic test cases, we are giving the identifiers or labels to the elements. So see here it is identifying a particular element, a unique element. We what we are saying, we need a text field which has the identifier or label as a name. Okay, so until and unless it's a unique, you will get that field. So say for example you have two text field and both have the id as name, then you need to find the element in the different way, because it will return two text boxes. Okay, so but if you have the unique identifier or label, then you can find that element by this way. And there is also one more concept, that is a first match. So by doing the first match, you can always find first element in that screen. So say for example you have three buttons, so if you say first match, it will always take the first button. So we'll explain all these things in the code. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so last time we have written test case, right? This is, so we have defined a text field. So see this is a name text field where I have mentioned app dot text field. So let me show you. So say for example, if you app dot, see there are text fields. Okay, this is a text field, then you have buttons, so all kind of XU elements are there. Then if you want picker, then you have picker, app dot picker. Then if you have table, you can go with these tables. Okay, if you have secure text field, that is used for password, so these are secure text field. If you go with the switch, then you see there is a switch. So all these kind of element types are already there. You just need to create a query to find a unique element. Okay, so here see here I have defined a name text field. Okay, in my application there is one text field, and that text field has a name. So let's see. So see, this is a text field, right, which we have in the application. Okay, okay, it's loading. Okay, you see I have put the identifier as a name, so that's why it's a unique and I can find it by using the label or hint or identifier. Okay, so when we are running the test cases, it is running perfectly because that's a unique. Okay, I can because there is only one text field, if I do like this app dot text field and I say element. Okay, this will also run. Let's see, this will also work because on that screen only one text field is there, right? So let's see. So you'll have the idea that how you can create a different queries to find one element. Okay, so okay, see there is one element. Okay, side by side. Okay, see I have put a debug, so that's why. Now if I say print a name text field, okay, we'll see how many we have found. Okay, if you can see, my query has found one element which is a text field and which has the identifier name. So this test case will work. See, there is only one element it has found. Okay, so it I say run, this will run, right? Okay, why? Because there is only one element, one text field in it. So I can define it by using if the identifier is there, I can define it with the help of identifier, or I can locate it with the like putting just that it's a text field element. Now say for example, what I will do now, so you can get idea perfectly. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll add one more text field here. Okay, let's add one more text field to submit here. Now not okay, so now there are two text fields. Okay, now we'll see what is happening. Okay, so now if I run the test case, it should fail, right? Okay, see. Okay, now if we see, okay, let me put this like this. Okay, now if I say, I'm just saying how many elements are found, okay, with the name text field. Okay, so because I have defined, see what I have defined my query, I need a text field element. Okay, so see there are two text fields now are available, right? You see there is a first text field which has the identifier name, and there is a second text field. Now if I say tap on that element, okay, if I say I'm executing the test case, it is getting failed. Why? Because there are multiple elements, like multiple matching elements, so the automation don't know on which element we are going to tap. Okay, so this is the thing, only one element is present. If you know there is only one button or one scroll view, then you can use like this app dot particular element type and then element. Okay, but this won't work if you have multiple elements on the screen. Okay, see we are getting the error here, and what it is saying, fail to get matching sample, because we have multiple matching elements in this, and we have already seen, right, there is a text field which has the identifier name and another text field. Okay, so this thing you only this thing only will work, this query, when you have only single element type on that particular screen. Okay, now what I'll do, if I say, okay, sorry, okay, text field, okay, so there is one more method. It is saying like, no, you can use bound by. Bound by means like it's kind of array. So no, you can say that no, you want to use the second or first text field. So say for example, if I'm saying first, okay, that there are two elements with the name of text field, but I want to use the second one. Okay, 0 represent the first one and 1 represent the second one, because we have the two elements we have seen, right? If I run this test case, you'll see. So this is called indexing, right? I am giving the index of the particular element, that if there are two elements, just use this. So see, there is automation will be entered in the second text field. Okay, if I say 0, then it will enter the data in the first field. Let's see that also. Okay, so by this way, if you have the multiple elements, and you can use the index of that element for your to locating that element. Okay, so okay, and if I say second, now it should, because there is no third text field, so it will fail. So we'll see that also. Okay, so we should say the failure, we should see the failures also, so no, we have the more idea, like we'll get a more knowledge on that particular thing. Okay, and we will be clear in mind that when we are going to use that one. See, now what it is saying, it is saying that no match is found for element at index 2, because there are only two text fields, and we are saying that enter on the third. Okay, so whenever we are using the index which is not there, then you should get the error. Okay, so what we have seen, so we have seen two options. One is that you can locate the element by element type, okay, if it's a unique. Also you can use the query like no element type and element index, Also we can use like identifier, like we have already seen the identifiers. Okay, so I say that app dot text field, and the text field has the uh, what what was the id was, I think, name. Okay. Okay, so now let's run it. See, it is working because I have mentioned the particular identifier. Now if I go here in my storyboard, because I have two text boxes, so what I'll do for these, I will use the identifier as name one. Also, okay, let's go with the label here. Okay, I am not putting identifier, I'm putting label, so no, we, we can cover both those things. Okay, if I say name 1 is my identifier, then it should enter data in the second text field. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, now you have seen that it has entered the data in the second text field. Okay, so I hope you all get understanding on these three things, like you how you can find if there is only one element, and you can find it by using the element type. Okay, also there is you can find the element by indexing, then you can find the element with label, titles, or identifiers. Now okay, the first match concept. Okay, so say again, now we'll see the first match. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll okay, first match. Okay, 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 so I'll put both the you know identifier, both the text box have the same identifier now. Okay, they both have the same identifier, and I'm saying that first match. So why first match is used? So no, it is reducing the time. Okay, so when you know that no, you need a first matching element, at that time you can use this. Maybe you can use these in the element also, and you will the result will be fast. So element search will be fast. Okay, so see, both the elements have the identifier as name. Okay, so ideally, if I am not putting the first match, it will throw the error that you have the multiple matchings. Okay, but here I explicitly mentioned as first match, I need a first match. So there can be multiple 10 matches are there, but I need a first match. So in this case, this will pass. Okay, it will enter data in the first text field. See. Okay, so my test case is passed. Why? If I'm not putting the first match, it will get failed. See, so you'll get more idea what is the first match and what is the uh, if I'm only using identifier, because my both the text will have the same identifier. Now in this case, it will get the multiple matchings and it will fail. See, but if I'm putting the first match, that I only want the first match one, then it won't get failed. Okay, it will whatever first element it is getting with the matching query, then it will perform the action on that particular element. Okay, so this is the first match. So first match will return the first item that matches your query, and even if you have more than one matching element. Okay, and this is the faster than element because it won't check for duplicates. So in these cases it will check for duplicates, right? If you have multiple matchings, right? If you have 10 matches, it will check for the all the 10 matchings. Okay, but in the first match it is only taking the first match, and it won't go for the duplicate one, it won't go to find a duplicate one. That's why it is always faster. So I hope you all clear with these three concepts. You can find element with the element type if it's a unique. You can find element by using the labels, titles, or identifiers as a string. Also you can find the element by first match. Okay, and first match, if there are multiple matches, first match won't throw error, but if there are multiple matches, then this will throw the error, and that will uh, fail your test case. Okay, now other things. So find by index. So yep, I have already covered this, how you can find the element by index. Okay, we have already seen. Now there is another type, like you can find by children matching or descendant matching. Okay, so these returns a query for direct children. Okay, when you are using the children, this will know whatever direct childrens are there, it will find all the elements matching type for that. Okay, so it returns a query for direct children of the element matching the specified type. So whatever query I'm writing, it will fetch the all the children of that particular query. If I'm saying the descendants, then it will return all the query, it will return a query for all descendants of the element. Okay, what is the difference? So no, children matching, these will only read the immediate subviews. Okay, so where you have no, if you are saying that app scroll view, and in that you are asking for the children, then it will read that scroll view, and it will inside that children, if I'm saying that no, I need matching text field, whatever text fields are there, just give me that text field, it will return that one, and it will return the all the descendants, this descendants query. Okay, it will read all the subviews, views, whatever are there. Okay, uh, let's understand this concept. So what I'll do to make this understandable, let's introduce few elements in our application. So I'm just deleting text field is now not needed. Okay, what I'll do, I'll so I'll take one scroll view. Okay, where is the scroll view? Scroll. Okay, this is the scroll view, right? So this is one scroll view, right? I'm taking one scroll view here. Okay, and inside that again I'm putting one more scroll view. Maybe let me put this. Okay, I'll add this later. Okay, I'll putting few buttons inside that. So I'll say button. Okay, this is my buttons inside the scroll view. Okay, don't go with the design, I'm just explaining you, that's why I'm not doing the perfect design. But let's see, it's a button A, this is button B, and this is button C, and this is inside one scroll view. Okay, let me put one identifier like A. For this button it's a B, and for this button it is C. Okay, so these three buttons are there. Okay, now where is our test case? Okay, what I'll do, okay, leave it, I'll just go and find buttons. Okay, so I'll type that I need let button is equal to app dot buttons. Okay, sorry, app dot scroll view, it's inside the scroll views, right? So I'll put just scroll views. If I say button, okay, we'll see this also. If I say buttons, it will find all the buttons in the inside the say descendant. Okay, I'll say okay, descend, and my matching type is button. Okay, I'll say so my matching type is button. Okay, so let's see, I'm just putting a debug here, so we'll see how many buttons we are getting. Okay, here by running this code. Okay, so I say that in the app, whatever buttons are there, matching type button, I need that. See, if I'm running this query now, and if I'm seeing the result, if I say print only button, see how many button my query is returning. Okay, so my query is returning me 4 buttons, button A, B, C, and the submit button, because inside the app there are matching type buttons are 4 buttons. Okay, see, 1 2 3 4. Okay, now just terminate this. Okay, I don't want to run whole test case. Now if I say I need a button inside the scroll view, so I need a button app. I have in app there is just one scroll view, and inside that scroll view I need a descendant maybe, and I say that I need a matching type as buttons. I need button. Okay, now let's see how many buttons we are getting. So we should get 3 buttons now, because we are mentioning that no, our query is saying that we need buttons which are inside the scroll view. If you see, if I say button, how many buttons are there? Okay, see that it is matching with the scroll view, and in the scroll view there are 3 buttons, button A, B and C. Okay, now what I'll do, if I say here I need a matching type button, okay, and inside that if I mention that no matching identifier means a label or the identifier which we have already given to them. If I say B, now you see, so this is just I'm showing how we can know how we can create queries. Okay, so my identifier is B, right? So let's check now how many buttons. So we should get only one buttons which is matching our query, because we have written like no button, and inside the button I need a button which has the identifier now B. Okay, so now yes, application is already launched. Just I'm in console. If I say if I want to check how many buttons I am getting now, okay, see now what it is saying, in this scroll view we have 3 buttons, but what button is matching our query, which button is matching our query? It's a button B, because we have mentioned that I need a matching type B. So because I mentioned that in the scroll view I need a descendants, I have descendants inside that which are of the type of button, and inside that I need a matching identifier B. That's why it is printed that you have 3 buttons for this query, and from that you have only one button which has the button B as a identifier. Okay, let's if I am changing now, okay, if I'm changing the identifier, we'll see if we have 2 identifiers at button B. Let's check now what will happen. This is all I'm showing you to know, so you can understand how you can write the queries and get the proper elements. Okay, so let's check now. So now our query should give us 2 elements, 2 buttons. Okay, which has the button identifier, it's a B, right? The application is launched. Now if I say button, okay, see now the query will return 2 buttons, right? Because we have button A and button B which has the same identifier as B. Okay, so button A and button B are the names, and both have the same identifier, because saying that element matching predicate B, because we have the same identifier for both. Okay, now what I'll do again, and I'll change the identifier as A here. Okay, I'll put one more scroll view inside that. Okay, and I'll put one more button here. Okay, now I'll rename it to button D. Will give the identifier as D. Okay, now let's check our query. Okay, so now I'm just removing the identifier. I'm saying that I need a button, so let's check. Okay, I'm just running the test case and we'll see. Okay, so now we have 4 buttons there. Okay, so if I say now that give me button, so my query is returning how many buttons? See, it has written me 4 buttons. Okay, because all are under the first scroll view. Okay, if now I stop this, I'll say I need scroll view. Inside that I need again a scroll view. Inside that I need a matching identifier. Let's put identifier here, and my identifier is T. Let's see. Okay, it started. Now if we see our, if we execute our query. Okay, so what it is saying, it doesn't find any okay, sorry, yep, it doesn't find any element, right? If I say here, if I say tab, so it will fail because it is finding the scroll view. Inside that there is another scroll view, and it is finding for the element matching predicate D, okay, which is our identifier. Okay, it is trying to find this thing, but there is no element. Okay, there is no element, that's why. So okay, now what I'll do, I'll just say inside the scroll view, I'll say children matching. Now what type of element I need here in the scroll view, that the child of that particular scroll view is scroll view. Okay, now, and after that I'll put that I need a button, right? So whose children is type of button. Okay, I can also, but there is only one button, so it will return me the button. If I say that I need a matching identifier, that will also work. Okay, so let's run it. I'll just stop this, and okay, and let's run it. So this time it will work. Okay, so now if I go here and say give me the button, so now it should, okay, it should find one button which has the identifier D and label as D. I can also mention here the no like matching identifier also I can give, but obviously I have only one element, so I don't need to provide element ID. But if I say this will also return me the same element. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now let's see here what is happening. Button, so see, it has find the same button. So by this way or by this, both this way I can find the element. So whenever you are writing any SQL element query, you should keep in mind that your query should be like that, that it will always return you the proper element or unique element which you want, right? If there are two text boxes you are return the we are already seen that two text boxes are there, and we are writing the first match or any other thing where we want to enter the data in the second text field, then your test data may be entered into the wrong field, or your test script will interact with the wrong element. So that's why always try to build a query which will give you a unique element. Okay. uh, okay, so this is all about the children matching type, your scroll your descendants, and how you can find those elements. Okay. Previous one where we have written scroll views and scroll views, it is not able to read because it's a children of that particular scroll view. Okay, so it is not able to read the button which is inside the scroll view, and that's why it was giving the error in the sense it was not finding the element. Okay, now I hope uh, these all are clear. So we'll just have a quick recap that we can find the how we can find element. What we should keep in mind that we should always locate the element, or we should always write the query which can give us the unique element. On that unique element we can perform our actions. Okay, so if there is a only that particular type of element is in the screen, then we can write it, we can find it like app dot text fields, or app dot scroll views, or app dot button, or app dot picker view and then element. Okay, if you know the IDs or identifiers or labels of that particular element, then you can put it and you can get that element. In this both the case, if multiple matches are found, your test case will get failed. If you want to go with the first match element, that you don't need to find for the possibility of multiple elements, then you just use the first match and it will faster your automation script also. And because it is not searching for the duplicates, so this thing also you can use. Also you can use the indexing when you don't have the identifiers, but you know that there are 5 text field on my there are 5 buttons or whatever, like we are 5 switch on your screen, and you want to you don't have any identifier. So how will you do that? So you can use the index. You know the type of the element, you can give the type of the element, and you can say that no, for the third element or fourth element, whatever is there, you can put that index here and you can locate that element. Also you can write the queries where you can put the matching children, matching then children or descendant matching, and putting the type of that particular element or identifying the element, and you can find those elements. Okay, so this is all about the element XU element and XU element queries. Once you find the element, there are lots of actions available. So what manually, whatever you do, like enter a text, or tapping, or double tap, two finger tap, pressing the element, swipe up, swipe down, swipe right, swipe left, picker, in the picker you can adjust. So all these actions you can perform on your element. So we have already seen, right? Just stopping this. Okay, so see here we have defined the label, right? There is a static text. Okay, so this is a name text field. I want to enter my uh, data in that, so I can use the type text. Okay, as I mentioned, there is a type text. Okay, see, so you can use buttons also there. So if I have the button, see, I have used the tapping here. Okay, or picker, you can use the set value. So these all actions you can perform on your element. Okay, so there is once you have defined your element, you can perform these actions on your element. And then the final is assertions. Okay, so the final outcome will be right now, whenever you are in on any automation test scripts, you have written any flow, then you want to check or you want to put the assertion. So no, you can verify your flow is correct, or whatever expected result you want is there or not. So for that purpose, you can use the assertions like assert true, assert false, assert equal. There are lots of assertions are there. So if you go here, I think you should get few assertions. I think if we are putting xct assert, see, lots of assertions are there, right? So by these all you can know, you can add assertion in your test scripts. Okay, so say for example, let's check. Okay, if here I say that no, I'm not tapping, I should not tap on the label, but I say assert. Okay, this is my assert true. What is true? So I say that label, and label is hitable, label is exist. So there are a lot of methods. So I say that label exist. Okay, so this is my assertions. Okay, Let's run this and see. So the test case is passed, right? Because there is one label. Okay, now if I say that xct assert false, and if I say label exist, okay, I say that it should be false, that there should not be such kind of label. Now my test case will fail, right? Because I have the label, right? So this will gets failure, right? Because I have the label and I'm saying that there should not be such kind of label. So by this way, you can put your assertions. Okay, also okay, I'm just putting this. Okay, so assert true, assert false, assert not nil. Then you can have equal also. Okay, so if I say okay, so I have the name text field, right? I'm entering the data inside it. Okay, I'm doing some okay, label, and I say label. I'm just putting these assertion xct assert, putting again assert true. So I'm putting label exist, there should be label. After tapping and typing the automation, I'm just tapping on the submit button. I have also put the alert exist. Once the alert, I'm tapping the OK button. Then what I'll do, I'll put one more assertion here, that xct assert true. I need okay, equals I put. Okay, this time we'll see the equal. So I'll say that assert equal. Okay, and what is equal? So I'll say that I have the name text field, right? Name text field, and it has the because I have already entered the value as automation. So I'll say it has the value which is in the string, and what is the value? I'll say it is the value is automation. So this value should be there. Let's run this. Okay, okay, start. So I have put 3 assertion here. Okay, see this passing, right? All the assertions are passed. If I say that my value should be automation, so it will fail in this third assertions. Okay, because the value is automation which we have entered, right? So this will fail, right? Why that is failing? Because it is saying automation, and I have put the expected as a automation. Okay, so yeah, so this is all about assertions. So by you till this video, we have seen the XU application class, we have seen the XU element and element queries, and assertions, actions. So by these all the things, you can now start creating your automation scripts, and you'll be able to do that. If you There are only 3 classes which you need to understand, and then you can be easily write the things. If you're not able to write directly, then you can use the record and play, and then gradually learn how you can write the automation. Okay, yep. So I hope these all videos will help you, and you can create your own automation using this XUI test automation framework. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.